All right, so we got college football on the brain, college football playoff rankings in particular, and the first installment will be tonight. Year 2 of the playoff era kicks off. There are some big changes this year as you're getting ready for it tonight. For the remainder of the season, the selection is going to be on a made-for-TV every Tuesday. Roll out their rankings all the way through December the 2nd, and then the field of 12 straight ranking will be announced December the 7th. That's Sunday after the championship Saturday. That'll determine the 12-team playoff field. So you got 5 straight Tuesdays of this. And now it's, the 5 highest ranked conference champions are still in, but aren't guaranteed the top spots, right? There's no more buys. And so that changes. And it'll just be interesting to see what the College Football Playoff Committee thinks. You mentioned, Jack did it in the grievance line yesterday, that Texas beat Oklahoma head-to-head, yet they're behind them in the AP poll by 2 spots. Like, it matters. But at the same time, where is Texas here? Yeah. With their ranking? Well, how high are they? Well, how many SEC teams are ranked? There's, how do they see the strength of Indiana and Oregon's schedule? Because again, they're supposed to be tweaking their model here to reward strength of victories, not just win-loss record. Right. And we know outside of Oregon, Indiana hasn't beat much of anybody. They've beaten the daylights out of them, but they haven't played a schedule like a team like would it be fair to have Indiana ahead of Alabama? Or even A&M? Or even A&M, based on the path that they've both taken. And just because Indiana's undefeated and Alabama took a loss, well, gosh, Alabama has 5 wins greater than the 1 good win Oregon has. And it's a good win at Oregon. But at the same time, Indiana and Ohio State doesn't have many quality wins outside of the Texas win. So, and that was at home. So, again, those are the kind of things. Quantity of quality victories like Alabama has stacked up versus just no losses. Yeah. Is supposed to be taken into the criteria tonight. And obviously we'll have all day tomorrow to bitch and moan about it and complain, and people will do that. But at the same time, it's just the first of 5, and then the only one that really matters. And I always say that these rankings, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, it's kind of like when you're making a puzzle and you start trying to build the perimeter of it. Mm-hmm. You're just kind of getting the outside of the puzzle, and then you start putting the meat of the puzzle, and by December the 7th, we'll have the full puzzle on all the pieces played because all the games will have been played. But I will be intrigued to see what they say is going to be a change and rewarding great wins, not just losses, not having any losses. How does that look when it's an Alabama versus an Indiana head-to-head? Because I would argue, even though Alabama has 1 loss, their overall body of work is stronger than that of Indiana. Yeah, and I do also agree with A&M. A&M sits there at 3 right now. They haven't lost a game, and they have better wins than Indiana does. A&M should be probably number 2. But this will tell us, where do they have the Big Ten versus the SEC? Right. I think they'll keep Ohio State at 1. The win against Texas is going to help them and just how dominant they've been. But, I'm curious to see what they do here. I would probably put A&M at 2 if you're asking me, just because their quality wins. They haven't lost a game yet. That's where you can make a debate although I do think Alabama has got a much better body of work than Indiana. They do have that 1 loss early on. But they probably have when it comes to wins, the best resume. At Georgia? Yeah, no, they have a great resume. They beat at Missouri. They beat Vanderbilt. Home to Vandy. Yeah, so they have a lot of great wins. So I wonder what they're going to do there. I think your 4 teams are right there, as we just mentioned. It's just what order do they have them in. And then I think that'll be revealing, too, by the way, because like we just said, I think A&M should be ahead of Indiana at least. Yeah, I would assume they're going to put one of the SEC teams, and I would just think, over Indiana. If you leave last year out of it, you could have a strong argument that A&M should be ahead of Ohio State even. It's neck and neck because they have a win at Notre Dame. They've got a home win, a quality home win over LSU. They've got really good wins, whereas Ohio State did beat Texas. But I think we've all seen now because look, these are people. They use they use the metrics, they use the strength of schedule ratings. They look, but they also use their eyes, and their coaches on that team. And I think we can all say that Texas as a preseason number 1 team was inflated. And maybe Texas now, like different Penn animal. State at 2. Yeah, Penn State is a different story. Not the same as it was. 1 and 2. Ohio State's win over that Texas team, which was disjointed and wonky and had a young quarterback who's much better 2 months later. We know that, but at the same time, coming off his SEC Offensive Player of the Week honors, same time, that's the best win Ohio State has right now. Yeah. So their wins. You said at the start of the year, they were going to beat Texas and they're going to beat Penn State. Of course, they're number 1. Well. What was Texas then and what is Penn State now? And now Indiana gets to play Penn State. Let's hear Sark. He's going to watch it. He normally doesn't, but here's Sark when asked about the College Football Committee rankings. And let go. Will he pay attention to it today? Hold on to that quote, Jerry. What do I got going here? Sorry.
Stephen A. Jerry?
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry.
He's yelling about Jerry.
I got the ESPN tab open, and I hate when they just have random things playing. I don't
Stephen
need that.
A.
Especially
yelling
that
at
thing.
you.
Here
Thank
we go.
you.
Here we go. Here's now Steve Sarkeesian without
There we
Stephen
go.
A.
Other
Smith yelling at like he normally does.
Because I'm going to buy. You know, if I was game planning for an opponent, I probably wouldn't watch it. But I've got a little more time on my hands this week, so I'll probably watch it. It's always interesting to see, you know, and there's, you know, I say this wholeheartedly. There's a reason I don't vote in the coaches poll. I can't see everybody. I can't watch everybody. All I can base it on of what we do and who we are and how we play. And so I think, you know, and that's no different. I don't know how AP voters watch every game, you know, because if you just look at scores, you probably look at the score of our game saying, hey, that must have been a pretty close game. When all reality, we kind of dominated Saturday. And I get the fourth quarter didn't go the way we wanted to go, but we really dominated the game. So how do people really vote? And to me, the committee, are they really looking at the resumes of the team? Are they really watching people play? Are they really watching head-to-head matchups and what happened when people played each other and how did games go? And so to me, it's interesting. It's an interesting process that the College Football Committee has to go through. I think we got a pretty good team. We got beaten two top 10 ranked teams so far this year. We play in the toughest conference in America. You know, we've lost on the road in a difficult environment. We lost on the road against the number one team in the country to start the game in a one-score game and start the season in a one-score game. So, hey, but I do think we're playing better football now than we have all year. And we need to continue to do that. And there's a lot of football left to be played. I always laugh at these initial CFP rankings, and then what does it really look like in the end?
Yeah, because it goes on to point out that the year they won the Big 12 championship, the first rankings came out and they weren't even in it. I mean, they were not. I mean, they were like top. They were the back end of the top 20, and wound up winning the Big 12 and playing in the CFP and losing to Washington in that year. So it doesn't, but it will be revealing because, I mean, I'm the one that says tap the brakes. It's not a big deal. The sky's not falling. But this year they're supposed to be changing their criteria.
It's supposed to be a little different, right?
And them confirming that they were changing their strength of schedule metric and their criteria is why the SEC agreed to go to 9 games starting next year, 9 conference games, right? And keep their policy of having to play a group of 4 team or Notre Dame at least one game in the non-con, which means the SEC is signing up for 10 really, really difficult games where, again, the state of – and look, Indiana and Ohio State can't change the current state of their conference.
Right.
But teams that are typically brand names and powers are just not good right now. I mean, Michigan's in a rebuild since their championship
just
and a new coach.
And not great, yeah.
USC's not – now, they did beat Lincoln. They won beating Nebraska. People will think that because it's in Los Angeles, like that was a big win. Well, Matt Rule doesn't mean anybody.
Yeah, they have to go up to Eugene. We'll see how real they are then.
The point of it, you got brand names like USC,
Right, sure.
Wisconsin, Ohio State, Penn State.
They're in the back of the 20s.
Who are supposed to be really good, but they're not good.
They're not great, no.
And they're not close to what some of these SEC teams are, and as far as athletes and talent and what that challenge is. And so, again, Indiana and Ohio State can't control that, Oregon, but they also shouldn't be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
They can't do anything to change it, and that's why Alabama and A&M, if you had me voting, I don't care what the AP poll says, based on undefeated teams, I would have A&M as the number 1 team in the country. I'd have Alabama ahead of, I'd have Ohio State 2. I'd have A&M 3. Excuse me, I'd have Alabama 3, and Indiana and Alabama 3 and 4. But SEC should be rewarded for the strength of their schedule, with as many as 9 teams or 10 teams that are fighting for 12-team playoff spots, where the Big Ten doesn't have anybody beyond the top 3.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. Ohio State's just different because they've just been so dominant. I know they've played Illinois.
It only should matter this year.
Yeah, no, totally.
That's what
I agree.
There's a website that spells out what they do.
Right.
The only thing that should matter for these rankings are this year.
Yep.
Games played this season. Because this is a whole new team. It's a whole new quarterback. It's a whole you can't. This committee, we in the AP and human beings who vote for the coaches poll, I guess
see
they can give credit.
Think of something, right?
But go read the guidelines.
Right.
It's what started August the 30th and to now, and that's what they're grading the criteria on. And under that, Ohio State doesn't get credit for the national championship last year.
Right.
but it's a brand new team for them.
Yeah. Yes.
And so credit the teams of what they've done for 2 months of college football. And right now, to me, the most accomplished and proven team is Texas A&M, much as Longhorn fans don't want to hear that, as they go to Missouri this week off their
body of work, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They've had some closer games than Ohio State, but they played better competition than Ohio State. They've got better wins than Ohio State. So I agree with you there. I mean, I just think specifically, as much as it pains me to say this, I think Ohio State just has some of the best players in football now at the league, and they're just really good. But I do agree A&M should be 2. Indiana, you're right. They have a good win. I think Oregon's a solid team, probably top 10. I don't know where they're sitting at that. I think they're 6th right now or 7th in the AP poll. But the body of work from A&M, and even Alabama, who's got a loss, I do agree with you. It's you should be rewarded for that. So I don't think we should see Indiana tonight at 2. I agree with you. It should be one of those 2 SEC teams for whatever metric you're bringing into this.
And I guarantee you, Greg Sankey and the SEC won't be happy if it's not.
No, and
because if it's Big Ten like Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, and then the SEC teams come, that's not going to be a good look, in my opinion, just based on where that conference is. Just point of fact. Now, again, Ohio State. Look, if Ohio State comes out number 1, am I going to argue about it? Because if A&M was playing Ohio State this week,
in a neutral field,
I'd probably pick Ohio
Buckeyes,
State. In a very close game, though.
Sure.
Because A&M, Mike Elko's doing some things, man.
They are. They're battle tested.
And if Alabama were playing A&M or playing Ohio State right now, or Indiana, I would lean Alabama. That's
fair.
So again, that has to be taken into account too. Body of work and who would you pick? Who do you think the better team is? But that's what we'll all find out tonight for the first of 6 releases of the college football playoff rankings. And Sark said he'll be watching. He's on a bye. I'll be watching.